Welcome to another episode of One of Us Knows What They're Talking About, and the other one is you. I'm Lori Burch, your host. Join us as we discuss and unpack wills, trusts, estate planning, and probate law in a way that's actually informative, interesting, and, well, hopefully entertaining. Because if you don't have a will, the state of Texas has one for you. Let's dive in. So today we're going to rant about something that's probably one of my favorite rants, is this online despicable legal planning documents, services, what have you. And we talk a lot about how terrible these things are. And the reason we talk a lot about how terrible these things are really twofold. One, they're that terrible. And two, we are the ones who have to fix or try to help mitigate the fallout of this terrible stuff. So we're going to do like a review of some of these sites. And I've only looked at like the two big ones, but I hope that my colleagues here, I don't know why that made me laugh, calling you all colleagues. I should have looked at Cynthia when I said it. My colleagues here, hopefully you looked at some of the other ones that are out there to glean some of their greatest hits of stuff that they have on their sites. That's what should scare the bejesus out of you, is looking at this stuff. But let's first do a nice overview of the end results that we see. Just a quick one, because we've spent episodes going through this, and we'll spend future episodes going through this. But I do want to hit on a few highlights. One of the biggest issues, and we are going to go through this, I need to pull up this actual will that we saw one time, is they don't get signed correctly. And this is probably the biggest trigger for Sam, because she oversees most of the signings. And so she just is not baffled anymore. We've come to expect it. But why it's so hard for people to get documents signed correctly. And so, Sam, what's been your experience? Whether it's been when we've done offsite signings, so it's documents prepared for us, instructions given by us, or you've seen the results of when people come to us and they tried to do the DIY online will sites. What are some of the highlights that you've seen?
A lot of them, and this is not going to be shocking for anybody, are just not signed correctly overall, whether it's...
But what do you see that they do? Like, why is this so difficult? Spoiler alert, we have no idea. And yet...
Because there's even like some services, they'll give like instructions, and they're good instructions. And yet...
Yeah, I'm going to use an example of that.
Yeah. But like we've had one where they've missed one entire witness page. They don't initial everything. It'll say clearly, like in our instructions, that the person who is witnessing, they can't be related to you, or in the documents, and then they will have their witness. Those are usually the most common ones. And then we had that weird one of an offsite signing where they had the same people witness, but on one page it was a different date. The second page was another date, and then the trust document was a third different date. And it's, how do you even do that?
Sam, they'll get to it when they get to it. A page a day. That's what we say.
Like,
page a day. Yeah, I would estimate that of the hundreds of DIY online wills that we've reviewed, and when do you think we're reviewing them as a probate firm?
I have an idea. It's my go. When people are dead and nothing can be done about it.
Right. So if we find out that there's an issue, it is the literal definition of too late, right? That is usually to find out, because it's not like, oh, I did this online will and that was probably awful, so maybe I should have an attorney review it. No, these people, if they would have gone to an attorney, they would have gone to an attorney originally. So it is when your family members have to use an attorney, because 9 out of 10 times you're going to have to use an attorney in the state of Texas to go through any sort of probate process to transfer or sell or liquidate assets. That's when they find out. And it then is absolutely 1000% too late. And so I would estimate that probably 70% of the time, and I think I'm being generous, so I think it's probably more, but 70% of the time, there's a problem with how they were signed, meaning they are not valid, meaning they won't work, meaning that you can't just show it to a judge or family and show what someone's intent would be. It doesn't work that way. I'm actually involved with this situation right now where there's a transfer on death deed that apparently somebody did to, she deeded her home, and a transfer on death deed is, Sarah, what's a transfer on death deed?
It sounds like a deed that transfers when you die.
Absolutely. 100%. Knocked that out of the park.
Nice.
Yes. So it's something that people can do. It's not a one
there
size
are
fits all.
steps you have to take.
Well, I'm getting to that. So we're dealing with one right now where there was a transfer on death deed for somebody. And again, the reason this comes into my world is because someone has passed. And they did not record it, or if you want to use more layman's terms, file it with the county where the property is located. There are different rules around when a deed needs to be filed and when it becomes valid, depending on the type of deed. So I'm being very specific here that in Texas, for a transfer on death deed, there is a different requirement that it must be recorded, filed with the county before death. Not all deeds work that way. Sometimes you can file them or record them posthumously. Sarah, what does posthumously mean?
After death.
Oh my gosh. My phone thought that Sarah was Siri.
That's
you know,
right.
that would be cool if that were your voice.
Oh.
Oh. Yeah. We need to explore that a little bit more. Like, what would it be like if Alexa or Siri were Sarah's voice?
Peggy's new voice?
Did you see those commercials? I think they were just a couple years ago where Alexa got sick.
Mm-mm.
Oh my gosh, this is good stuff. So I'm not going to keep saying the name because she keeps turning on. Because I have one in my pod. No, they and so they show how they got these celebrities to step in and help. And I think my favorite one is this guy says, you guys say the word because then mine won't hear it. So the guy says,
Alexa.
Right. What's a recipe for grilled cheese sandwich? And on the other end, it's, oh, who's that? Oh my gosh, that famous chef. I'm totally blanking.
Gordon Ramsay?
Gordon Ramsay. And he's like, recipe for a grilled cheese sandwich. The recipe is in the name, you idiot. And then it's just like several celebrities that are stepping in. And anyway, I think Sarah, as the voice of these, not just the voice, but really it's got to be your personality. And actually, I think that's like, a very good example that I used unintentionally where, hey, Sarah, what's a recipe for a grilled cheese sandwich? And first of all, there'd be this like hesitation and leaning in, but no words coming out for a few seconds. And then
But how
there'd
would
be
the
like,
device lean in?
so yeah. So cheese that you grill. We may be onto something here.
Man, yeah.
Oh, and man,
Do y'all remember?
everything's man.
Do y'all remember the John Legend
Man.
one?
The which one?
The John Legend voice.
Oh no.
He lent it to something. I think it was Alexa, and it was really like I could deal with that voice instead of the regular Alexa voice.
Yeah. I need to find a clip of that commercial and send it to you guys. It's pretty good. Grilled cheese sandwich. The recipe's in the title. Anyway, why on earth? Oh, because I asked Sarah a question and my Siri thought I was talking to it. Posthumously. So for a transfer and death deed, the requirement is for it to be valid is it has to be recorded before death. Otherwise, it doesn't exist. And here's the thing. There's no showing what someone's intent or wishes are. And in fact, unless you pull out a Ouija board or have a seance, I don't really think just because a document was drafted, you really can say that was someone's intent. I mean, sometimes people write things up and there's a reason they don't get it signed. There's a reason they don't get it filed. There's a reason. Maybe they decided they didn't want to do that, right? Or they decided to update it with a later document or do something else. So the idea that this can just be someone's intent. But yes, there are many signing requirements. And it really is, shockingly enough, one of the biggest downsides that we see to this. I'd love to tell you it's all our super special secret sauce language that we use. And that's part of it too. But if they aren't signed correctly, they don't work. So because I feel like we could go on and on about this stuff, frankly, I want to use an example of one that we saw just recently. And this is from one of the big ones that you see advertised, one of these DIY sites. And so, again, you're not working with a firm or an attorney where you're going into a physical space. You are meant to get this signed, witnessed, notarized, what have you, all on your own. And so they send you instructions. I'm going to read these instructions very quickly. This is a better visual. Unfortunately, I love doing this in webinars and seminars. This is a better visual, but I'm going to try and walk you through it to get the idea. But these are the instructions that come from one of the sites that we're going to review here in a moment. Sign and notarize. Find 2 witnesses and a notary that are at least 18 years old, not related to you, not included in your will. Sign your will while the witnesses and the notary watch. Have each witness sign and complete the witness page while you, the notary, and the other witness watch. Have the notary complete the notary page and collect additional signatures required from you and your witnesses. Now, either I've been doing this too long, or I think that's very simple, plain language, easy to follow and understand. So much so I'm actually giving one of these online sites a compliment that I think their signing instructions are very, very good. So much so that I don't even know that our instructions are this clear, which is why we just prefer you to come to our office and do it yourself. So then we read that and we flip over to the witness signature page. And it says witness signatures at the top. And it has a line that says first witness signature. And then it has a line that says second witness signature. And then there's other lines, first witness printed name, second witness printed name, date, first witness address, second witness address. Everything is blank. Everything, except on both the first witness signature line and the second witness signature line has N/A.
It's not applicable. It's fine. Yeah, doesn't apply to them.
The witnesses just weren't available.
But it also has the person's initials, GG.
They signed off on it. They said, yeah.
No, I see you, Texas, but I live free. I don't need to abide by your statutory requirements. You can't box me in. Don't tread on me. I'm going to do whatever I want. And it's baffling. But yes, this is a big issue. We could go on, and trust me, we have and we will when it comes to the end result of these things. But I think it's time to turn our attention to actually looking at these sites. And the problem with DIY planning is right there in clear sight. Like, you just have to look. Like, they're basically advertising, we suck. Don't do this. This is a bad idea. Like, it's basically right there. So I want to start with one of my favorite parts, and then I know you all can look at whichever site you want, but I really want my colleagues. Let me look at Cynthia so I don't laugh. My colleagues to point out ones that they found that they find egregious. But on one of the biggest, probably the mother of all DIY sites, rhymes with legal doom. They have on here where they have pros and cons of DIY wills. And I want to tell you, well, now I'm going to ask you, Sarah, as our marketing coordinator, do we have anything on our website, social media, our blogs, or anything that says, hey, here's a downside of using us?
I don't think we do.
Like, maybe you shouldn't. Like, maybe don't. Right? But they do. They have cons of DIY wills. And this is probably the best written section of their website. It says, even the pros listed above could have potential cons attached in the future. The following are a few cons you'll want to consider if you're planning to do your own will. Number one, risk of errors or omissions. One disadvantage of one of many of DIY wills is that it's easy to overlook important legal language or fail to account for specific estate planning needs. Serious mistakes can easily arise from unclear language, improper execution, or failure to follow state laws. Unfortunately, these errors and omissions could lead to the will being contested or even declared invalid. Again, Sarah, as our marketing coordinator, one day director, certainly, or on any given day, you give yourself that title. Is there anywhere on our website where it says, look, if you use our services, it may not be valid, it could be contested, like, it's just, these are the things that could happen, like, anywhere?
No, but maybe we should, if it's that easy.
Okay, next con of DIY wills, financial implications. Oh my God, I can't even believe this. I cannot read this. I can't. Okay. The money you save now as you create a last will online could end up costing your estate and or your heirs money later if the will isn't valid or its validity ends up being contested because it wasn't written well enough to withstand objections. For instance, your heirs may need to hire probate attorneys to sort out details or file a probate litigation lawsuit. Let's keep going. This, oh my gosh, time consuming. This is real. This is on their website. This isn't the dark web. Hey, or this isn't even our website. Like, you guys don't do DIY. This is the problem. Like, we have a lot of stuff about why DIY is bad, but we don't even bag on it as hard as their own site does. Sarah, why don't we take this and just say, hey, don't believe us about DIY wills, listen to them. This is what they've said themselves.
Right.
So, not suitable for complex estates. DIY wills can fail to take into account specific estate planning needs. Now, estate planning needs is like bolded and highlighted as a hyperlink. I wonder what that goes to. Anyway, such as avoiding potential estate taxes, blended families, parentheses, i.e., those with children from a previous relationship, close parentheses, may need extra legal guidance that DIY options don't always provide. Therefore, if you have a large estate that is subject to estate taxes, currently about 13 million, that includes complicated assets such as multiple properties, businesses, large investments, or involves unique blended family dynamics like second marriages or children from different relationships, a DIY will may not be the most comprehensive solution for your estate. Complex legal requirements that vary by state. Remember, the state laws regarding will execution vary greatly, and some DIY will sites may not take that into consideration when preparing your last will. I can't even handle reading it. Some jurisdictions, for example, require a certain number of witnesses present at the will's signing and or the seal of a notary public. Not all online DIY templates comply with, look, no, let me start over. Not all online DIY templates comply with state-specific laws regarding how the will should be signed or stored, and failure to follow these laws can make the will invalid or lead to complications down the road.
But Lori, they have guidance at every turn. It says it on their website.
We'll get to that. Trust me. Legal Doom's templates have been drafted and reviewed by local attorneys in each state. Again, we'll talk about that, and come with legal guidance as you go through the process. Finally, limited flexibility. Because DIY wills are templated estate planning documents, they lack the flexibility and customization needed for specific situations, such as tax planning and establishing trusts. Never mind, they'll sell you a trust, but then they're going to say they lack the flexibility and customization needed for specific situations like establishing a trust. And in fact, we dealt with clients not long ago that did it. And why is it always the clients that get it signed correctly that didn't have huge problems? But they signed it correctly. They lost the homestead exemption on their house. Okay. It's best to work in concert with an attorney as an expert source to answer your unique questions as you craft your own will. So much more that we can uncover there. But I mean, you know, really, DIY online will site, I couldn't have said it better myself. That sounds a lot of alarms to me. So I'm going to potentially stop talking for a second. What did the rest of you find, whether it's on this site? And I know we had a lot of fun when in a recent episode, we talked about a horrible trend where we've got other professionals who are not licensed attorneys, namely financial planners who have, which by the way, these allow financial planners and even attorneys, shame on you, but financial planners, realtors, insurance people to sign up and provide these services to people. And so there is a website that we looked at, and we didn't realize, but we did on these, that when you go to the terms of service, there's a treasure trove of red flags. Mm-hmm. So there's some good stuff there. So I'm potentially going to be quiet for a minute, besides my interjections. And I want my colleagues, look at Cynthia, I want my colleagues to share some things that they found that they thought were interesting about any and all of these sites.
Well, hold on. I think we have code names for some of these.
Unofficial code names.
Do we want to cover that? That's fine. Or just refer to it. I don't think I used the one that I talked about most recently.
You used the right one.
Yeah. You guys used that one? Okay. Perfect.
Yeah. Okay. So for lie and won't, that's what we're calling it. There's a site here that's talking about navigating probate, and they can help you. I'm looking through and I'm trying to figure out, okay, what is this process that they're talking about? Because, it's a 404 not found. Okay, let me go back. Sorry. I clicked on it, 404 not found. But what it's talking about is they can help you navigate through the probate process. They can guide you how to do it. But something special about Texas, hey, Lori, most probate proceedings in Texas, can you do it without a licensed attorney petitioning the court?
Very, very rarely. Very rarely.
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of times whenever people don't understand how predatory or just how misleading so much of this can be. Because, yeah, sure, you can maybe pay them some money to get started, but then you're going to find out very quickly that no, your state requires different things. They're talking about how probate is a personal thing. It's like, well, they provide you with a dedicated case manager to guide you at every step of the process. Well, at Burch Law, we provide you with an attorney and a case manager because the attorney is the one who tells you what to do. It's just very the way that they have everything worded, everything you need to settle in the state with confidence. Like, what parts of it though? Like, what do you mean though? What do you mean by settling in an estate? Because that can mean a whole lot of different things depending on assets, depending on where the person lived, depending on like so much. Did they have a kind of will? Did they have nothing? Were they married? Like, there's so many things here that this is making it seem a lot more straightforward than it is. And it's like, it can get really misleading, and that's really scary.
It's scary. Speaking of scary, Sam or Sarah, what'd you find?
I am unshockingly, I'm on the same site and like last time in the terms of service, just because it's so fascinating.
It is.
As the last one immediately says that they're not an attorney. It's not there's no attorney-client privilege. It's not an attorney work product, which is an interesting way to put it. Once again, they, like the other one, they say that they, try to make the documents current and up to date, but they're not legal advice and they're not guaranteed to be correct, complete, or up to date. Which
Wow.
is just crazy to me.
Wow.
They also
Can you
say,
imagine what if we put that kind of disclaimer?
right? They also say that they don't.
Wait, no, stop, Sam. I can't handle it. I can't handle it. Read that last part again.
Hold on, I have to scroll back up to it.
Slowly.
Okay. We strive to keep the documents and other materials available through the services, so like their website, including any descriptions, information, and other self-help resources, current and up to date. However, they are not legal advice and not guaranteed to be correct, complete, or up to date. And then they say that the law changes rapidly and is different from jurisdiction to jurisdiction and may be subject to interpretation by different courts.
Wow. Okay. Great. What are you going to get at next?
They also say in the same long paragraph that they don't review any document materials or any information that you input for accuracy or legal sufficiency, nor do we draw legal conclusions, provide legal advice, or apply the law to the facts of your particular situation.
What?
So they don't even look at it?
No.
Who would look at it? A robot?
They say in this terms of service that it's literally a self-help form and it's a fill in the blank type form. Yeah.
Wait. I have one really good thing on mine. It's talking about how secure your information is. And it says they use bank level security to protect and encrypt your personal information. Hey, Lori, is that the same as client attorney privilege and confidentiality that attorneys are bound by?
No, if you're looking at the same one, I've seen where it says, hey, look, we encrypt it like other websites, but that's not the same as attorney-client privilege. Like, you don't create attorney-client privilege with any of these, and they tell you that, again, in plain sight, it's all here on their own websites that are supposed to be marketing them. And really what they should do is be scaring you to death. But they say this is not attorney-client privilege. They have no obligations or ethical obligations to keep your information safe, secure, or confidential. And they tell you that.
Do they tell you how long the process takes, though? Because mine says it takes most people about 20 minutes to complete their trust-based estate plan and 15 minutes to complete their will-based estate plan. However,
and then according to Sam's example, 3 days to sign it.
Yeah. Well, but Lori, how do you feel about this next section? Okay, the length of time it takes to complete probate varies greatly depending on the state in which you reside, the size of your estate. Rest assured that our probate experts will help you move through the process as quickly as possible.
Wow.
Hey guys, in
Okay.
Texas, you're looking at like if everything is running smoothly in a big metropolitan area like DFW, like 6 to 9 months is speedy. I can't emphasize like
Yeah.
that is very quick. Months.
And that was because of COVID, right? Like COVID slowed it down like quite a bit.
Well, it's that, but also just we've had an increase in population and we haven't had any
Yeah.
more courts added to handle the volume of the fact that people continue to pass away in the area. That's just going to be an inevitability, I think.
Yes. There's not only more people living in the DFW area, there's more people dying in the DFW area.
Thanks, Sarah.
Man.
Are you doing like a horse like impersonation over there? Or?
Yeah.
Wait, say horse.
Horse.
Thank
you. That's dumb.
Okay.
This website also does what the other one did, where if you post like any comments, idea, questions, feedback, that you grant them non-exclusive, royalty-free, and fully sub-licensable right to access, view, use, reproduce, modify, adapt, publish, translate, create works from, distribute, copy, and display them. That was a lot of things that they can do.
So go ahead, Sarah.
So by modify, they can just change what you said?
Yeah.
For fun?
For fun, yeah.
It would be fun.
Didn't she say, which one did you say they, like in the last like day, they had so many 1-star reviews?
That's Legal Doom. Well, they have like, they have 15,000 total. And so it's like consistent, like overall every couple minutes they get a review. But I just filtered it to the 1 and 2s because I was just curious what they would say. And it's, yeah, like it's crazy how many they get.
Yeah, well, I mean, with a big company like that,
Yeah.
I'm curious as to what the nature of the criticism is, because I'd be willing to bet it's not even like the worst things that's really about them.
No.
But what I've always been fascinated about when we're talking about reviews is that everything's about how easy or cheap it was to do.
Mm-hmm.
None of them talk about, did it work? Because they don't know. They don't have any idea. Yeah, it's really easy to fill out a fill in the blank form, or as Cynthia was reading, yeah, it can take you 15, 20 minutes to fill out something that you have no business understanding. That's not hard to do at all. I saw another review for one of them that this one stuck out at me because it gets to the signing part. It says, I really liked that I was able to get a notary with 2 witnesses at an extra cost, but worth it to come to my apartment.
Oh,
that's nothing unique to these to this. Like basically you're saying, I really love that I had to pay extra to get it signed correctly to be valid. I mean, we can do that for you, Marcia.
It's like built in, but we can add a fee.
Like if you want, well, and we have done that.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the 1 and 2 stars are like about customer service. They're on too long. They get hung up on. A lot of them, they call them the wrong names.
Oh,
which is
but no, hold on, Sam. But all of them have like such great encryption. It's so secure though.
That's crazy.
It's so encrypted they don't even know the names of their clients or customers. I should say. Really,
a lot of the reps don't know what they're saying. Or they like want to get something, but like they're trying to solve something, and then the agents are just trying to sell them on something. A lot of business people aren't happy that are like trying to create like an LLC. Takes
good.
like months to do. They just don't answer them. don't like the website. A lot of
Well,
LLC ones, though, yeah.
yeah, I mean, so we focus a lot, well, exclusively on the estate planning and probate part, but a lot of these also will help you set up business entities. But then they don't tell you about like operating agreements or keeping minutes or records or setting up a lot of things that you need. And the whole point of setting, well, I shouldn't say the whole point, but essentially one of the biggest benefits of you being a business owner and setting up an entity such as an LLC is for asset protection. So if you get sued in the course of your business being an LLC will make just the assets of the LLC subject to that lawsuit rather than all your personal assets, your home, bank accounts, what have you, or other property that you own. So you need to have that protection. But just getting an LLC and filing with the Secretary of State does not successfully give you that veil of protection. In fact, what it's called, that's easy if someone does want to sue you, is called piercing the corporate veil. And that's not hard to do at all when you don't have all the filings and taxes and everything in minutes and operating agreements and all of that. It takes all these other pieces to make sure that you're doing that. There's other tax ramifications for setting things up that way. But again, I want to get to, because you're kind of alluding to this, talking about customer service. A couple of them talk about how they have lawyers available for extra fees. And I enjoyed one particular part where it said our attorneys have 15 years legal experience. And here's why I don't think that sounds as good as they think it does, is because typically when you're talking about years of experience, it's cumulative among all the attorneys. So they probably have like 100 attorneys that have 15 years experience between them. And I can vouch for this. I mean, of course, they're going to make it sound, and they have some of the, I don't know if this is stock photos or if these are actual licensed attorneys. We should kind of look it up. I don't know who they are, but let me speak on behalf of my people for a moment. What?
Oh, no, just on behalf of your people.
Oh, on behalf of my people, attorneys. I hit a button and I didn't know if the audio went out or not. But on behalf of my people, in order to be able to ethically give legal advice to someone, they have to be your client. And that's something that I know we have found in some of the terms of services in these places, in some of these sites, is that it's saying like that still we're not obligated to give you advice, we're not giving you advice, all of that. That still holds if you're talking to one of their hotline attorneys. So it's all general information. And we've brought this up before. We have met an attorney who worked for us who previously had been one of these hotline attorneys for an online site and admitted that she had no idea really what she was saying and what she was answering. Like she would basically all it was is looking up the code or the statute and then reading it to them. So they make it sound real good that you can access this legal help and attorneys. And I mean, they're so smiley in their photos. And we need to look at the ones that they show for Texas and actually look up their bar numbers and see if they're real or not.
Or see how long they've been licensed.
Right. Which again, I'm a big proponent of. Length of experience is not a barometer necessarily of how well they do things.
Yeah.
But I'm just really more like, I don't know what kind of experience. I'll tell you this. I don't think the attorneys that are in legal departments of banks have any idea what they're doing. We get pushback on things that are so run of the mill in estate planning world. And I don't really know what it takes to be in the legal department of a financial institution. But I can tell you this, it's not experience in estate planning or knowledge of how the Texas Estates Code works. Sarah, you've been quiet. Have you, as we kind of wind things up here, have you, did you notice anything? Do you feel like we covered it, or is there just anything that's really just stuck in your craw, or whatever that expression is?
Yeah.
So I was, Sam stole my my spotlight. I was in the depths of the terms and conditions. But one thing I have noticed that really irritates me is that a lot of these sites partner with they partner with big banks and companies, and it's kind of just
it's a good segue.
It's very infuriating that these big banks are just like, yeah, we'll partner with you, get a little extra money, and it's just what was the word Cynthia used earlier? It's very
it's predatory.
Predatory, yeah.
Icky.
Yeah, it's icky. I don't like it.
Sus.
I found a review that also talks about how like their initial process feels predatory.
Oh really? Yeah. Wow,
yeah.
Sam.
Yeah, they said oh wait, are you done, Sarah?
Yeah.
Okay. The initial customer journey path felt predatory as well. The user is constantly prompted to pay for numerous additional services, which are exorbitantly priced. The user is made to think they are mandatory and misled to believe that they cannot do it themselves, i.e., BOE filing, etc. I was told I need numerous business licenses. Upon doing my own research, I needed 0. Very misleading. Why not be transparent and educate your users?
Well,
because they know they can get more money.
I mean, free Shavocado, I'm looking at their, like, this is even terms of service. This is the bottom. Also, next time, Sarah, I'm naming these, not you. On here, it does,
yeah,
like,
that was me.
It does reiterate that this is online self-help solutions. None of this is, it's not a law firm, and its services is not a substitute for attorney advice. The information here is provided for educational purposes only and is not intended to provide and should not be considered actual advice.
It's not actual advice.
I think it was Legal Doom, where like in the number one, or like the very first term in their terms of service was, you are representing yourself.
Yeah. Did we find anything good? Because I didn't look at any of these kind of smaller ones that are out there.
One thing I found interesting about the free Shavocado is on here it says get
what?
That's what Sam apparently named it. Whatever.
I jokingly said it and she immediately wrote it.
You know that Sarah's gonna just do something to make sure it's just
Vine.
done.
I'll send you the Vine once we're done.
I don't care. Okay, but hold on. The crux of it, it says it takes less than 20 minutes to write or update your legal will for free. It says update your legal will. So one of the big things about this is whenever people come to us and they're like, oh, I just want to update what I have. Well, that's not necessarily a very like, oh, okay, we'll just take what you have, copy it, and add something to it. That's not how that works. There's a lot of times, like, there's been laws updated in years, like over years, like things get updated, and you have to comply with the laws of the year in which you are signing something. A lot of this is like, if you're just taking what you have and you're just like slapping some pages onto it, that is not going to work. And
yeah,
also,
that seems to frustrate sometimes when we have returning clients to let them know that it's not just a matter of taking out an executor name and substituting another executor name. There's been changes and amendments and updates to the laws and to the requirements, and to just do that, but sign a document that may have been valid as it was signed in 2010. But if the law has changed since 2010, it's still valid because it was valid at the time it was signed.
Yeah.
So that is how the law works. Even if something's changed or there's language that's been tweaked, if it was valid, if that was the format and the requirements at the time that you signed it, it will continue to be valid. However, if you sign it at a later date when that language has been changed or updated or amended, it's not valid. It's invalidated by doing that, if that makes sense.
In addition to that, we have people that come in and they have the original wills that they have taken a writing implement, crossed out things on the actual piece of paper. In Texas, you are essentially invalidating that document.
Well, the way it works, it's different. It depends on documents, on the document. Because in a will,
yeah,
if you cross something out, it doesn't invalidate the document. You are to disregard. We're just actually messaging about this in Burch Law. If you cross something out or add language, like handwritten language, to a validly signed will, all of that's to be ignored. So it doesn't invalidate the will. You just ignore that. The problems that start to become up, other than the obvious, like they obviously wanted to change this but didn't do it validly, so we have to stick to what it originally says. What if they like took a Sharpie and like really redacted something? If we have no way of knowing what that said, you have to get like a declaratory judgment or understand that. But let me ask you this: what if, because we've had to do this, you have a perfectly valid executed will, it's typewritten, but it's signed, witness notarized, all the good stuff. But then you decide you want to change your executor. So most people would call it a pen. If you're Cynthia, you call it a writing implement, apparently. But you take it out, and in the margin, if you write, I want my executor to be Sarah, and you sign it, what then? Because I just said if there's any handwriting on it, you are to disregard the handwriting. But now we have a situation where you handwrote something and signed it. Would that be a holographic codicil? Could be. Could
Hold
be.
on, Sam, Sarah, do y'all know what a codicil is?
Yes.
No.
How about we start there? What do you think it is?
No, you can't tell from the title unless you're talking about Lauren, how she sells wills, because she's a codicil.
Oh my God.
A cod who sells.
Yeah.
Onboarding director. It's
no, don't know.
Just for you, Sarah. Thank you. Oh, and Sam liked it too. And it like dawned on them at the same time. First of all, codicils, don't do them. Don't do them. Okay.
Don't do them.
This is old fashioned, outdated. You don't need to do it this way. In the age of word processing, there is no reason to just do a separate document that says, I hereby amend my will this way. But everything else in the original will. So basically, you now create this puzzle piece where you've got the original will, and then a codicil is like an amendment, and then you can do a second codicil, all of that. Just do a whole new will that incorporates your change and incorporates what you wanted to keep. Because there shouldn't be a single firm, attorney, or anybody that would charge extra to do that. In fact, I would charge extra if somebody insisted on a codicil, because that takes a lot more effort to generate that language.
And then also you have to keep up with it. You have to always keep everything together.
Yeah. So basically, in conclusion, you really should tread lightly on using any sort of product or service where they have on their website all these reasons to not use them. That's insane. Okay, there's a reason that they've put all this information there, and it means that it's bad. Like, just don't. Okay, that's your takeaway. So with that, for those of you who are watching this, I typically am at home in my little, we don't really talk about it, but it's this like little work pod that I have at home. I do go into the office, just not typically on the days that we record this. And so this week we've had a little incident at our office where the power is out. And so we're all working from home. Since we're all working from home, we thought it might be fun to quickly go through some of the fun stuff that you see behind us, or that you don't see behind us, but that we're going to explain. for those of you who are watching this, yes, Sam barely has anything, but what she does have is really important. So what order do you want me to start, or do you want me to end?
I think I should
You
start because I have the
start.
least.
Oh, you start. Yeah, this was kind of sprung
As
on
what?
us. Like
Yeah,
this morning, I was just like,
I
"What?"
wasn't told until this morning, so I would have done something last night if I knew. So,
Well,
but
all right, Cynthia, this was not sprung on you because we talked about it yesterday.
Yeah, but I thought you were joking, and I didn't really think that you would like on this audio situation that we would actually sit here and it's like, okay, let's go through things in our background. Because I'm like, dang, so I had to rearrange my whole office today during my lunch break.
It's not going to be as thorough as it would be if we were actually giving somebody a visual tour, but we can highlight some of the things that we've got. Just highlight it, because it could take me an hour to go through all the stuff that's behind me, and I'm not going to do that. So, Sam, what you got?
I feel like the most important one is my cat. His name's
Your
Barry.
cat,
He's a
Barry.
tabby. If you look on the other side, hold on, I have to move her. I don't know if you can see blue down the bottom and also a sock.
Oh, yeah.
In your sock.
I don't. Listen, they grabbed my sock, man. I've given up. I also.
Are you just wearing one sock right now?
I'm wearing none. I don't know what she's doing.
Know that.
It got moved because Barry was playing and he shoved himself into it. I have my TARDIS in the background. For my Doctor Who fans, it's a DVD holder. It's not usually here. I feel like I should point that out, but I needed something to talk about.
Yeah, we scrambled.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
There is also, if you can see her, a Moana Squishmallow on my bed as well.
Oh,
Nice and fairy lights at the
that's
top.
what that is.
They're not on. That's
Okay.
it. I don't have a lot. I'm so sorry.
Okay. Okay. Who wants to go next?
Sarah.
It's hard to top that. Okay.
Nothing will top that, frankly, especially the sock situation.
I didn't know it was down there until I panned down.
So behind me is just a bunch of tour posters. Those are orange juice faces. The most important is, where's my dog? She's right there.
Aww.
And then I also have a framed picture of her.
Stop.
And it is a doghouse. And the picture is of her doing her business. But
Wow.
it says top dog on the top.
That's the most
top dog
thing I've ever seen.
And it sits on that shelf right there under
I'm
the tour
sorry.
poster.
It's a picture of her doing her business. I feel like I would like to represent Kona in filing some sort of grievance against you.
Why would you do that?
Just business out for
I
everybody
will
to
take
see
Kona's
like that?
case. Yeah.
Wow, Sarah, damn. All right, Cynthia, what do you want to highlight?
Okay. Very quickly. There's a base. That's fine. I have a full box set collection of the 1960s Batman series.
Nice.
It is pristine in a box. There's also, it comes a little Hot Wheels replica of the car. I'm not getting it out. On this side, we have a tour poster from whenever we went to go see Taylor in Arlington. The Blue Pig is actually a painting done by my stepdad's mom. I saw it in her house one time and I'm like, I want it. And she gave it to me for Christmas. She has also done a cow. And I don't know how to get the cow because I would like that also. But hold on 2 seconds. My favorite thing.
What is happening?
I don't know. It's lagging.
I know it's lagging.
And the camera
It's
did
so-
not like it.
I can get this. Is this little guy? Hold on, it's lagging. Oh no. But it's
all right.
it's my little goose.
Pause for the cause.
Oh,
It's my goose.
Yeah.
It holds my keys.
There we go.
Magnetic.
Nice.
It's cool.
This is my favorite little
Excellent.
guy in the house. Also, my dog's in here, but he's asleep.
Hi, Tag.
Got it. So I Great. I'm not, there's so much behind me, but some people don't always notice like where I'm sitting, and some people's like somebody asked me if I was in jail, which a lot to unpack there that we're just going to leave in the suitcase. And then like, are you in a phone booth or whatever? But during COVID, when we were working from home, I'm in this upstairs loft area, and I don't have a designated office at home because we have 5 million children, so they take up all the bedrooms. And and their bedrooms are upstairs as well. And so it was always this, my mom's got a meeting, stay downstairs, don't make noise, like all of this, or they'd like duck down and go behind me and all of this stuff. So I saw these like little pods that some of them are completely enclosed, but mine has like 2 glass sides. I face a window, and then there's a wall that I face, and I don't know if any of you have watched the series called You on Netflix.
Yeah.
But so when I first had this made and I'm standing there looking at this glass case, I'm like, wow, I hope I get over that. And I did. Like, I don't even think about it unless I'm describing it again. But there's barely enough room for like a desk, me, and then I've got like this fun little geometric thing here. And again, there's a lot here, but let me just highlight like some of the best parts. So I have a Spice Girls lunchbox.
Nice.
Right? With all 5 Spice Girls. This is before Jerry quit, but she came back because she knew what was good for her. This is a dolphin that my daughter painted.
Ooh.
You're going to start seeing a theme here. This is special because this is a dolphin that our attorney Shruti made for me for the holidays. Very cool. And then if you look up, you'll see an Elvis crocheted doll that somebody else made. And then I've got a Miami Dolphin helmet, but wait, watch this. It lights up.
Nice.
No way. I love that.
And that's just the top shelf. So I'll just highlight a few other things. So I have my dog Teddy's ashes right there, as well as his paw print.
Mm.
And it even has some of his black wiry hair in it. So that's not creepy at all.
You said it.
But then you guys look at this. This is the Lego Friends Central Perk. Have you guys ever wondered what's behind me?
I've seen it.
Or you just like,
I mean, you've shown it, I think, but it's been a while since I've seen it.
Yeah. So that's some pretty good stuff. I should show you this. I've got an Elvis made out of marbles.
Oh,
I haven't seen that. That's
yeah. Cool. And then got lots of stuff from Indonesia, stuff that my kid has done. But then, of course, we've got Forky.
Yeah.
And next to Buzz Lightyear, best Toy Story character, I have one of my stepdad's mobile trains.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I have one at the office and one here. All his kids were given those when he passed away. And really, gosh, I have a lot of really cool stuff here that we could have done a whole episode with it. But there's more, but we'll leave it at that.
But Lori,
it makes me happy to be in my
your
space.
Kindergarten or first grade perfect attendance award? Because I do, right there. That's what that is.
Well, there's a reason I don't have that up, and that is because I did not achieve that. But that's like, is it really?
Yeah, it is.
Wow, perfect attendance.
It's fine. My mommy didn't believe
tells
in
me you went to. Yeah, I was just gonna say that tells me you went to school sick.
Yeah. Listen, my parents had to work. They didn't have anybody to leave me with. It's fine.
Okay.
I got perfect attendance.
Anyway, a lot of the stuff that I have in here, my daughter tries to steal and takes to her room, and I don't know why she thinks that's so funny. But she was just doing that the other day, like taking stuff, but I think I've reclaimed it. But every once in a while I'll find something. But the biggest thing that she took from my pod that is no longer visible is she stole money. I have a little wallet that I usually keep right there in front of me, but it is now hidden somewhere, and it has cash in it. And she proudly told me one day that she stole money from my pod, and I thought she was kidding, but she told me right where she put it in her frozen Elsa
Toy chest.
little treasure toy chest. And sure enough, the next day when I saw it sitting out, I'm like, let me go look. And buried underneath toys was indeed my cash. And I think my favorite part of the story, other than I didn't realize she knew where I kept the money, nor that she would go into the pod without me in it, is she was so proud of herself that she stole money and I had no idea, that she had to tell me. Because it's like that that Game of Thrones scene that is memed a lot, where it's like, tell mom that it was me. I want her to know it was me.
But she told you herself.
Yeah. So I know that's not much of a correlation to how horrible these DIY sites are, but being we rarely have it where we're all working from home, and it's like this is who we are at home, and I think it's fun to share in that.
I have a lot of craft supplies.
You do.
Okay, we're done with yours. All right.
Listen, I had to rearrange, and I'm like, oh, there's a lot of stuff behind me.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've got lots of stuff that I could just keep going and going, but we'll leave it at that. We don't want to show up Sam that we have more personality than she does.
Valid.
I could show off my my ink collections.
Oh my gosh. Is that for your writing utensils or
my writing implements?
Or whatever you call it?
Actually,
Is that the one you got at Kinokuniya, or is that a
this one? I think I got Ferris Wheel from Kinokuniya. Yeah. This one's definitely peachy. That's the color of the ink. Listen, I have a lot of writing implements that are refillable with ink, so that way you don't just like throw it away. Like, you just keep them for a while, and I cycle through which ones I'm using at a time. Some never leave my desk, some travel with me. But yeah.
All right. Well, Cynthia, that's very interesting to some people, I'm sure. I hope
it is.
And so, that's it. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for listening. And just to cover all our bases about what you just heard, I'm sorry and you're welcome. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode, and tell your friends about us. We do webinars and live events. The best way to stay up to date is to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. Links are in the show notes. If there's a topic you'd like us to cover, maybe you have a question you'd like us to answer, or maybe you just want to say hi, hit the link in the show notes or go to birch-law.com/podcast and fill out the contact form.
Much better.
Yeah, I thought that had a lot of energy.